correspondence is empty.
Sounds good. Sounds like the man.
Dawn yelling at him. Do you have the list of the trees that we?
Have the toga?
Here you go, Bill. Evening, Hazel.
Okay, Azu. We're in informal. Enforcement order for RK. Yesterday, during the site visit, we moved some stuff around, pulled a bunch out because it was just too dense. We came up with 16 white pines, 4 red oaks, and 4 red maples that'll be extra. We're waiting for Mass Highway to tell us if they have any use for them anywhere on MassDOT land in Rainham. If they don't, they'll all be reverted to us, the town. Brian Glavin has said, because we tried calling Park and Rec, but somebody didn't feel good, so she took the day off on Monday to see if they needed any trees. So we ended up getting Brian Glavin, the tree warden, and he said that he would take them and take care of them until the people from Park and Rec maybe felt better.
Those were nice trees too, very nice
They
trees.
might be able to answer to see if there's any place that they would like them.
I'm actually sorry you came.
And next on our agenda, Park and Rec. We'd like to we'd like to discuss Board and Colony land improvements. If you would be so kind as to step to the podium.
Well, we,
Don't need any trees, huh?
no, well, actually, we will take some trees. Tom, I'm sure you'll find some good stuff. Absolutely, if there's any left.
There will be.
So, as you know, that we are kind of jointly looking after the boarding colony farmland, the Park and Rec Commission as well as you folks. And over the last couple of years, I've had a couple different tenants on the side behind the ball fields. Olson's has rented the opposite side of the road. So we've had some problems over there in terms of there's a whole drainage system that's on that property, and over the years with the different farmers that have been harrowing, it's not working the way it should currently work. So our current tenant, Tony Arruda, who's back there, is doing, he's haying a part of the parcel currently. And there's 93 acres, and I think he's got roughly like 15 acres. And some of the acreage is on the backside of where the hill is, which probably wouldn't.
Dave. Okay, all right, thanks, but. Dave
Tell him
won't
to push
make
his
it.
chair into the
Okay,
hallway.
he's not gonna make it, all right.
Pushing his chair in the hallway.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
That's okay. So anyway, the part of the land that's probably the most farmable is the section that's directly behind the ball fields. However, some of it has,
The ball
because
field meaning,
the soccer, the McKinney baseball field, Arruda soccer
up
field.
towards the dump end.
Yeah,
Are
but
we
it
talking
actually
about where
runs
it's
from,
really wet behind the
Yeah, it runs
fields?
like
behind
even where
the-
the gazebo is, currently behind the gazebo, there's a parcel back there that is that is currently being hayed by Tony.
Yeah.
Previous to that, we had a pumpkin farmer that was
Yeah.
there for a few years, but the pumpkin farmer had to leave because the deer were really doing a job on his crop. So he had already harrowed some parts of that parcel, and he was trying to expand into some other parts, but there were some areas that were still pretty wet. So what we, as
I
we've been
got
out.
stuck mowing out there for you, so.
Correct, so you're familiar with how wet it is. And so there are drainage pits out there, and there's a whole drainage system that runs under it's probably about 6 feet down. So what we were looking to do, which the Park and Rec Commission was in favor, but I wanted to bring it in front of you folks, is to just repair, put some very gradual swales in there to direct the water into the drainage pits that are already existing, to try to get some of that, a larger part of that parcel able to be farmed. Because essentially I'd like to get most of it farmed if I could.
Are you gonna keep them as catch basins? What are your plans on those pits are dangerous?
Yes.
Well, the plans where we talked about putting some fence around.
Wait, why don't you come up over here to the
Come
microphone
on.
and state your name for the record? Not that nobody in town knows you or anything, but.
Tony Arruda. The plans were after I dug out the swales, is to put some fencing around those pits. There's a lot of them out there that don't even have covers on them now.
Right.
But, we're talking like a swale 50 feet. It's just through the years, they've just been filled in, So it's not, we're doing anything different. We're just opening up what was there that's been filled in.
Okay. It's agricultural.
Mm-hmm.
It's, what's that land?
It's the Borden Colony property. I actually have a copy of the deed here. It's got restrictions on it. You can't remove.
Restrictions by,
The Department of Agriculture.
Deed restrictions.
Yeah, there's deed restrictions on it, and the restrictions state that you cannot remove material or bring material in from the property. So you can move material around the property, but you can't take, so we couldn't rent it to somebody that was just gonna dig a big hole and take all the material out of there. So there are some specific restrictions to that, but the other restriction is that it either needs to be farmed or it needs to be maintained as farmland. So one of the challenges that I've had is to get a farmer that can actually farm it and stay there, because when we don't have a farmer there, we have to try to mow it, and as you know, it's been difficult to mow. Since I had the pumpkin farmer, and now since Tony's picked up some of those parcels that the pumpkin farmer started with, it's better because I don't have to mow as much of it. But the more we can farm, and if we get a hayfield in there, it's gonna be able to, we're gonna be able to save, the town will save significant money, because I'm not gonna have to pay a contractor to mow it, because we don't have the equipment to do that. And it'll be a more usable parcel, so, in the future years, it'll be more farmable for a future farmer. Because currently I've had about 15 people come and look at that property, and they're like,
can't get there from here.
Exactly, and the restrictions are you can't put structures up, so there's a lot of challenges to, today's farmer. There's no irrigation out there. I mean, it goes on and on, so you gotta find the right person that's willing to farm out there. And I think if we can make that parcel drier by using the existing draining system that was put in place for that purpose. But like these guys said, it's been harrowed and harrowed and harrowed.
Oh,
And
I've
it's-
fallen in them, because you
Yeah.
don't see them, Where are we at?
Well, do you guys have any vegetation management plan with the Department of Agriculture?
I'm sorry, do we have any?
Vegetation management plan, VMP.
The NCRS did a plan for us several years ago. I want to say maybe it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
But at that time, we didn't have a tenant at all. So they did some soil testing, and then they kind of gave us some suggestions about what we might be able to get in there in terms of farmers. And it varied from getting somebody to come in and have animals graze there to trying to get a cooperative farmer. But we didn't have any, the goal of that plan, which they did for us, the state did it for us, was just to get a viable farmer farming the property.
Yes, I'm telling you, really, until you have a vegetation management plan, or yearly operational plan, they can file a notice of intent with us and get around it that way. But you can't just go and start doing work there with the deed restrictions, because if
Well,
you.
if these swales work and I can dry that property,
Yeah,
I want it all for hayfield. I just wanna go in there and see if I can get it to dry. If it
Yeah.
dries, then,
You're actually not, from being out there personally, you're not changing drainage.
At
All you're doing is,
there's that existing
It's
ditches
cleaning
there.
up what's
Well, then,
there.
yeah.
Just maintaining
Yeah.
right,
it.
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
old
Yeah, he's
swales
not-
there
yeah.
that, have been filled in, that's all that I'm not.
When was the last time there was an activity there?
Well, the last time that there was a full-time farmer there was probably when the Reed brothers were there, and that was before, I mean, I've been with Park and Rec 7 years, it was before I was there, probably
but
10 years
that's,
ago.
it's been mowed at
Right, it's
least
been
once a
main-
year.
Right, it's been
Okay.
maintained.
Well, no, because what it is if it lays dormant for 5 years or more.
Right, well, that's why we've been mowing it, because we
Yeah.
have to, we don't have an
No,
alternative.
then he can do that.
It's just maintenance, correct?
Because what they're talking about when you can really bring stuff or take stuff out is earthwork.
Right,
Right,
Okay, so if
he's
you're
just
not
gonna
doing
clean
any-
out drainage
Yeah,
ditches.
if you're not doing any real earthwork, you'll be fine.
yeah, we just wanna, like I said, clean up with the areas
Yeah.
that need to be.
Okay, so we need to
Yeah.
vote, or they're just all set?
No, they're fine.
Okay, and like I said, the Park and Rec Commission already approved it too, so the
Yeah,
two
that's
governing
fine.
bodies that
Just,
oversee it.
I mean, actually, you were under 210 CMR, if it's, what they're doing is maintenance, they're exempt anyway.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Just keep an eye on him.
Who's gonna keep an eye on her?
Yeah, right, that's a bigger problem, right?
Just keep us in, keep Gail in the loop when you're gonna try to do something.
Yeah, I did.
You got my number, I mean, just,
All right, we'll be in the near future.
wait till we get 4 days of rain and then try.
Yeah, that's right, just wait for the 6 inches of water.
It's pretty wet today. We tried driving out there with the gator just to check all the drains, and I almost got stuck with the gator.
I saw
so-
them out there. I don't know what they're doing.
The other side, I have fallen into those, because what they were was actually like a catch basin,
Wow.
and there's no grates anymore. And you drive through there with a tractor, and, the grass is up over the height of the tractor, the hood of the tractor, and you're like, oh, it's like,
Wow.
Some of them are square, they're like 6 foot square.
yeah,
Some of them,
and 6
there's
feet
one that
deep.
has like a set of stairs that goes down.
That's not safe.
Yeah.
So, well, now you at least have the posts around most of them.
Well, he's gonna put a fence too, so that's gonna make that whole side.
It'll be obvious now.
That's on your side.
Once they clean
Yeah.
up around them, it'll be obvious what's out there, but now, he said he had some fence we can throw around it.
All right, I think we're all set with that then.
All right,
Okay?
we can leave.
You can
Have a
leave,
good night.
unless you wanna stay up.
Thank
No.
you. I gotta
Brian
take care of
Ward
my,
over
I
here.
gotta take care of my second child.
Brian will
Probably good.
get in touch with you
Yeah, about the trees, yeah.
once we have.
We got plenty of areas that we could put a few trees in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna take that back. All right, other informals. Alice Gonzalez, Homestead Development, 272 Mill Street.
Good evening. My name is Alice Gonzalez. I live at 272 Mill Street. And this is my sister, Margaret Gorey. We had a project to develop the property. It's at the corner of King Philip and Mill Street. In October of 2006, we received an initial letter from the National Heritage Endangered Species Program telling us that no work may commence until they completed their review. On March, the letter was dated March 30th, we received it April 3rd. We got another letter that said the project will result in a take for the eastern box turtle. Our subdivision was under question because we have 7 frontage lots and we have 7 subdivision lots on that property, designed, and the planning board, conservation commission, everything was okayed until we received this letter. I had studies done by Scott Egan. He didn't find anything. He made a presentation to Natural Heritage along with Bill Manganello. They made a couple of presentations, and nothing changed. It's been a lot of years. They just kept saying no. They wanted major revisions done to the project. As a matter of fact, the whole subdivision was going to be taken. I have a letter that I received on March 22nd, because I have been in contact with Attorney Manganello over the years, every year, as a matter of fact, finding out if anything had changed, if any rules had changed, anything like that. I was speaking with an engineer who told me that I should check again this year, and I did that in March because he understood that some things had changed and whatever, and I checked with Attorney Manganello. Apparently nothing had changed, so I went to my state rep, and he helped me out with this project. I now have a letter that is that I received in March that more or less clears us of any action that they wanted to take on the property. This is a copy of the letter. I believe you'll see in
seen
the
this?
second paragraph there. I believe I met with Azu and Gail, and I gave them a copy. And it says that it will not result in a take at this time, after they have done a review, another review. So I am here just to ask for your counsel on what steps I should take now.
If I'm reading
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah, so basically what Natural Heritage is saying is that it took all this time, but that plan that is dated with those dates, if that is the plan they propose to proceed with, they are done with Natural Heritage. If there's any change in scope or content of that plan, then they have to go back for a new determination by Natural Heritage. The question is, a plan does meet today's rules and regulations of of conservation, the planning board, and DEP. Because back prior to 2007, for example, the stormwater management guidelines of the DEP did not mandate recharge on, those kind of things. That came into effect in 2008. So the question then is, the plan on record, how will they modify that to address the current regulations and not deviate significantly from the plan that Natural Heritage has looked at? And so,
You get that?
I got some of it.
Basically, the rules have changed.
Right.
What they're saying is, if you
Who's
go
they?
by that old plan,
Who's they? Natural Heritage?
Yeah.
Okay.
if you go by the old plan, you're okay. If you have to change that plan because of today's rules,
Mhm.
then it has to go back to them for review
For a
again.
review again.
So what you need to do is have the engineer, your engineer,
Mhm.
design to today's standards, but hopefully he can do it in the same footprint that it is on the plan that they reviewed. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, can we just clarify for anybody at home who's watching exactly the spot of this? Because I know we don't have a plan in front of us that we can show the public. So I'm assuming this is across from the Legion?
Yes.
The corner lot across from the
Yes.
Legion, and it wraps around onto King Philip?
Yes.
Heading up towards
Yes.
Aggregate?
Yes.
Okay. that corner,
Yes.
okay. Just so anybody at home is trying to think of where this is, 272.
Well, I live in the house at 272, but it extends all the way to the
Okay.
end of the street and it goes
Right.
down to the river.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, that's where
Yeah.
the property is.
Okay,
And it goes all the way to the back toward Susie's diggings up there in aggregate.
okay. Just so anybody at home who's
It's that-
watching,
that-
who's
that
watching,
corner.
I don't know how many people are watching, but just so they have an idea.
Everybody's home watching us.
Just so they have an idea of its location.
As long as TV's on, it's working right, okay.
Okay, so what do I have to do in relation to the Conservation Commission? I mean,
You need to go back to your engineer,
mhm.
No, you gotta do it.
and, yeah, he's gonna have to redesign to today's standards. File a notice of intent. I would imagine you're gonna have to go through planning board.
I would say so. Did you ever receive an approved subdivision plan from the planning board?
Yes,
You did?
did.
I have it,
You have an approval from the planning board?
yes.
How long ago?
It would have been in the same year, but I couldn't go back to them because everything stopped at the Conservation Commission.
So you did have an actual subdivision approval from the planning board?
Yes, I do,
Like in 2006?
2006, yes.
So-
Yes,
That would still be a valid approval. Have to look at the exact dates, because the subdivision was like good for 8 years. So.
And then you got permit
the tolling-
extension
That's what I'm
acts.
saying, the tolling period. So it might still be an approved subdivision with the planning board. But you have to go down, talk to John, right? And see what the timelines are. Because sometimes the planning board might approve a subdivision and give you 2 years to build a road, type of deal. But the actual, in terms of zoning, that will be grandfathered for 8 years, it would be good for 8 years. So if the approval was back, let's say 2006, then it will be a valid approval through the tolling period of the Permit Extension Act. So you
this
might
is
be
John,
okay.
this is John you mentioned is
Yeah, the town planner.
town planner.
Yeah,
I had spoken to him before I came to see you.
yeah.
And they discussed it, he and Maureen discussed it a little bit, and I thought that he said that it was okay, but I will go back to
Yeah,
him again.
yeah.
I'll
I
go
would
back
think
to him
it
again.
would think it would be okay.
I'll go back to him again.
And where does that put her as
And
far
sure.
as stormwater regs?
So if that is a good approval,
Mhm.
then your engineer needs to be a little creative.
A little creative.
Coming to us?
Yeah.
Because the plan was approved in
Not by
06.
conservation.
And the plan was approved by planning in 06, but some of the rules that conservation has to go by has changed since 06. So that's where your engineer would be a little creative, as he was saying,
Okay.
and then represent it to conservation.
For a notice of intent, because your notice of intent
That's
was
gone.
closed.
Even if it wasn't closed, if it's open more than 2 years, it's DEP gets rid of it, so.
So it's
Okay, so the engineer has to come to you and,
With the new application.
with a new
Okay.
notice of intent.
okay. Anything else?
No, you just gotta make sure you tell him that some of the rules since 06 have changed. Make
Sure.
sure he revamps the plans.
Sure.
I will hope that they do.
Yeah, make sure he revamps the plan, so when he comes to us, because Azu's up on his rules and
Oh, I know
regs,
he is.
so he doesn't say, you gotta go back again,
Okay,
You know.
all right, we can do that.
Especially if you're trying to speed up the process to beat any extension acts that we're in,
Okay.
So hopefully he comes out, gets it done right the first time, presents it, and we won't have too many issues or concerns.
Okay, I can do that. The next meeting is, your next meeting is?
21st.
Yeah, but to get it on the agenda, this here is an informal discussion with you
You want to come in with a notice of intent.
for a
Okay.
hearing, right?
Okay.
So the first thing really is you gotta get a hold of an engineer,
Okay,
all right?
yeah,
Tell them to file notice of intent with us.
okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Move into formal. issuance of a certificate of compliance, DEP fee, file number 269-0462. Motiva Enterprises.
That was that Shell gas station?
We already voted on this, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Just
that's the shell.
Yep.
To issue it.
Right, because that's the one that the work was never
So
done.
all we have to do is sign it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
Issuance of a determination for
Senior.
Senior Housing Development LLC, 1084.
Well, that was a positive determination. You
Yeah.
filled it out, right?
So we're just signing.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to read for this one?
Yep.
Do we have everything?
We'll find out in a second. Green cards and the tear sheet.
25th?
The what?
25th of April?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Prints get smaller and smaller.
I'm just making sure
Brought
I
my
can
glasses,
read the right one.
Top right,
Right
top
here.
left.
Yep. What's that?
Yep.
In accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, in the Town of Rainham local bylaw, the Rainham Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, May 7th, 2014, at 5:30 PM in the Donald L. McKinnon Meeting Room in the Rainham Veterans Memorial Town Hall at 558 South Main Street, Rainham, Mass. On notice of intent filed by Shoveltown Classic Homes LLC, P.O. Box 477, Northeastern Massachusetts, 02356. The applicant proposes to construct a single-family house with associated clearing, grading, utilities, etc., that would be located within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. The applicant also requires review and approval of a delineated wetland line and associated resource areas. The property is owned by Michael and Diane Pepper of 9 Daniel Drive, Easton, Massachusetts, 02356, and is located at Lot 15, Queens Circle, Lorena, Mass., map 12, plot 212A-15.
That's what, I couldn't clear that one up.
There you go.
Everything.
Did you get two DEP file numbers on this project by any chance? Just trying to clear it up. I got two notices for Shoveltown Home Builders.
No, this is senior housing.
God, did I put it in the wrong one?
This is senior housing.
Okay.
That's why I was wondering what you
I thought it was Shoveltown.
No.
State your
Thank
name for the
you.
record.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
I'm Frank Gallagher. I'm the design engineer. Rick Pacello is here from Shoveltown Classic Homes. He's the applicant. And this is Lot 15, Queen Circle. It's Lot 15 in the King Estates subdivision. And you can see, if you look at the locus, where it is within that subdivision. It's one of the remaining lots. The majority of them have been built on at this point, and most of them without having to file anything with your commission. But this one does have bordering vegetated wetland on the property. So, and the work we're proposing is within the 100-foot buffer zone to that wetland. So, so that's why we're here tonight. And you can see, if you look at this plan, Queen Circle is here. The wetland is in green, so it kind of fingers onto the property. This red line is the 25-foot buffer. This red line is the 100-foot buffer to that wetland. The house is here, driveway, utilities come in off the street into the front of the house. We've actually built the lot up somewhat because of the groundwater table that we found out there. So you'll see that most of it's raised, and the grading generally comes back to Queen's Circle. It'll shed stormwater back into the drainage system that's in Queen's Circle. We also have, some fill that's going against this lot line. So if you look at the plan, you'll see that we created a swale and we showed some spot elevations right along the property line that will take whatever stormwater goes in that direction out to the rear of the lot. This hay bale line is what we're asking for a limit of work. And you can see that it's outside of the 25-foot buffer zone. But we've also shown, since it is in fairly close proximity to that 25-foot buffer, we're showing a proposed fence in the area that's closest to that buffer. And so that's a limit of work that'll be established even after the builder is complete and the new homeowner is moved in. And that's essentially a sign to the new homeowner that that's your stopping point with any future work. So.
I see two things. Number one, we'd want signs on that fence.
Okay.
Number two.
How long is that fence? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably it's 13 sections, so probably 3 signs, one on each end, one in the middle.
But
Limit of work, no work beyond this.
over here on the, first of all, Mr. Chairman, if you remember, Senator Fitzgerald, SFG, I walked both their properties. When SFG filed for Mr. Miller, notice of intent for lot 14.
Yeah.
If you remember, that was the one that the, Dr. Hewitson had to go back.
Yeah.
And they revisit the line, and they were said that he didn't know why that area was flagged when he had gone out there in the winter time. And so when he looked at it this year, that line, did you look at the line from the new flags that Walter Hewson put out there?
No. I didn't know.
Yeah, because that one that he has doesn't come out this close to the street.
It doesn't come up that close
No.
to the street.
No. And we looked at it, and I looked at it, and it didn't make any sense that the line was up to here. So that line actually is back over here, Frank. But anyway, that be the way, this is the only area they're coming that close to 25. They got plenty of room here. Okay, so if they were gonna, somebody has young kids and stuff, I don't, with the line, the way it's changed, you probably wanna revisit that to make sure that you're not boxing yourself in too much. Because that line, this wetlands line is different from what Walter flagged recently.
So what Walter flagged is less restrictive than this?
Yeah, it doesn't come on this
Further,
close.
further out, Basil?
Yeah, it's farther out back, it goes more to
Okay.
the
Are we talking here?
northeast.
Yeah, no, we're talking, further up.
So further
Yeah.
up.
In that area there.
So this is actually, instead of going up to the road, actually was.
Right, exactly.
Well, I know that, the homeowners that Rick's building this house for, are aware of this limit of work, and they're, I think they're satisfied with
Okay.
what's being created for the lawn area for them. So, I mean, I think we can live with this limit of work.
I think we'll be all right with that, yeah.
That being said,
What about natural heritage?
Yeah, we filed with them, and we got a letter back from them. I thought did they not copy you?
I did get it.
Okay. We got a letter April 28th, and it essentially said that this, the work we're proposing will not adversely affect the habitat area, so.
okay. So I'd be looking for 2 things. Number one, you have hay bale and silt fence. We do double row, double staked hay bale.
Okay. Double row of
Yeah.
hay bale?
Double row, double stake.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing, we've been allowing the wattles with the tube. right? With the hay bales.
Yeah. The wattles, I think, I think they get beat up so fast that they're not,
And it's hard to see them
I'm not impressed
in the
by
woods.
them.
Right.
It's hard to see them in the woods for physical barrier.
Right.
But the only, we allowed it on the work that GPI did for Roger Stolti on the street, because you can see it right there on the road. I just want to let him know that for erosion control that is more than 200 feet away from the street, you want something, the regular hay bales, not the wattles. And I just want to make that clear because we have allowed it, but you want to say, note why
But
we
why
allowed
we-
it
yeah,
and
why we
where
allowed it,
it
yeah.
was allowed.
Okay.
That's all.
So you're really looking for double hay bales?
Double row, double stake hay bales.
All right.
Um, 3 signs on the fence,
Signs
one
on,
on each
yeah.
end, one in the middle that say no,
Well, we've been putting that in the order anyway.
Yeah.
So that they know what the language is.
well, I'm just giving them the chance
all.
right now to know that this is what I'm looking
In
for.
the order of conditions that you listed.
Yeah. Anybody have any other questions, anything further?
You picked up on the two that
Yeah.
I was gonna bring up. There is, Gail, is there still a diagram on the town website on the hay bales staggered?
It's
A
in
photo?
the regs, yeah.
So it's in our regs if you need to, revert back to that. I think they are staggered.
So we have
I think so.
natural heritage, we have a file number?
Yeah.
Okay, anyone want to make, do you have anything further to add, Mr. Gallagher?
No,
Anyone in the audience? Anyone care to make a motion? I guess not. You want me to do it all?
I'll make a motion, for DEP file number SE 2690904 Queens Circle, Lot 15,
To close the hearing.
to close the hearing.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Now, you have 21 days within which to issue a decision. And that includes issuing a decision today if you so wish. Or
Okay.
you can wait until your next meeting, but,
I personally would like to issue a decision
man,
Issue a decision.
to
as
approve
for-
the plan with 2 special
with the,
conditions,
Conditions that we had put down.
3 signs, and double row, double stake hay bales.
To issue the order of conditions?
Yeah.
I'll make that,
Or, we're gonna make it too?
I'll make a motion that we do that.
With the 2 conditions?
With the conditions as we outlined previously.
Second the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
all set.
So that'll get signed at the next meeting, or just?
Now get signed
Unless
next
you
meeting.
decide to come by, well, we can prepare it, and then if you decide to come by. But then if you decide to come by and do that individually, you need to take a vote of that, otherwise, wait until the next meeting.
It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll sign it the next meeting.
Yeah.
thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you. Anyone have anything further to add?
Did you want to talk about that?
We have one other issue. Cogene Plaza
Yeah, okay.
on South Street,
West.
is it
Cogene
west? Yes. There's still trash. Dumpsters are open. It is right on the river. It's been an issue that I brought to Board of Health at least 4 or 5 times in the past several years. Board of Health went out, called them. They did do some significant cleanup, but there's still trash all down the bank, stuck in the trees. The dumpster was open yesterday, so that the trash is just blowing out, and I feel that it's time for us to take some action.
Going to send them a letter.
I would like to issue an enforcement order to be present at our next meeting.
I do have a question for Azu. There's also a old grease trap container dumpster within 25 feet of the bank, 30 feet of the bank. I didn't know if that had any impact on being that close to a riverfront.
How old is the use?
I didn't
It's
open
used
it.
all the time,
Yeah.
I mean,
By
how
the
long have they
restaurants.
been there?
forever.
Oh, well, then that's not, reverse act doesn't apply to it.
He's talking about the dumpster.
Like the old
That they
grease,
dump,
old grease, you know, the ones you, like, out of a fryer later, that you dump excess grease in a holding area until
Yeah.
somebody can come and pump it up, or somebody hauls it away.
Is it, so basically still fiberglass, or,
Oh, it looks like a steel dumpster.
It's like a small mini steel dumpster.
is it sitting on a platform? Like
I don't think
No,
so.
it's right on the edge of the parking lot with the dirt.
oh, no, I mean.
Right
that's-
up against the
that
edge.
right there, so if, unfortunately, until an accident happens, you really, the 25 feet does not apply, to be honest with you. Unfortunately, something has to happen. Something has to actually happen to create an action against that.
Okay, so
it's not
just,
ac-
it's,
It's not actionable at this point.
okay.
But the trash is.
Yeah, as long as there's a litter of trash.
Oh,
But
there's-
having their trash bins there does not constitute a
No, no,
violation.
no, it's the trash on the bank, stuck in the trees.
Yeah, well, that's an
Going down
action,
into the
that's
river.
actionable.
And open.
Yeah,
You know,
That's
they don't take care of it.
that's actionable.
Okay. So can we have a motion to issue?
I'll make a motion to issue them a enforcement letter, asking them to present themselves at the next meeting.
In the meantime, cease and desist from,
Allowing the trash.
yeah.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we'll do a letter.
You write it, I'll sign it. Okay. One more motion?
I make a motion, I like that one.
Well, I do have
Oh,
one
okay.
one thing that I wanted to bring up to the commission. I know we don't have the full board here. I did talk to Commissioner Reynolds via email, who's the other person on the signage committee with me, and we were considering on doing the signs in plastic, poly, like at St. Anne's Church, because we're thinking of long-term and low maintenance and costs to the town. But I didn't know how the rest of the commission felt about the signs being in poly.
I'm fine with that. As far as,
I'm working on getting a couple of,
they're gonna last
recycled.
much longer, no? You want wood?
well, the ones that are currently on the Rainham State Forest on Locust Street and Hewitt's Pond is wood, but as you can see over the years, it's very faded and involves some maintenance, and I don't know who's gonna climb up there to restain or take them down, and I know the poly will last a lot longer.
Chairman of the subcommittee could get up there and clean them up and repaint them. Do I have a motion? Okay, so we'll continue.
Yep,
I will continue
You are trying to put together pricing?
try to get some pricing together and possibly get something on the, in the fall town warrant, if possible.
Good.
Anything further?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Goodbye.
So ordered.